I was a boy when my parents began attending this brand new church that was starting up in a little funeral home chapel right down the street from our house. Those were exciting times. We had no idea what God's plan was for this church, but my parents were among those early pioneers who were willing to step up, dream big, and invest in the future. The question they asked was, what does God need us to do to pursue this dream? Then they did it, and amazing things happened. That was over 20 years ago, and now I have a wife and children of my own. Over the years, this church has seen waves after waves of non-religious and nominally religious people walk through the doors because somebody invited them. They felt welcomed. They were inspired. And as their lives changed, they began to reach out to change the world. This has all been possible because this church has always been willing to do whatever it takes to pursue God's dreams. And like the ripples across this pond, God has taken every sacrifice of the past and multiplied it beyond our imagination. Now it is our turn to ask the same question that my parents did. What does God need us to do now? When we look forward to the next 20 years, we see an incredible future defined by 3 key visions. First, we believe God will use us to positively impact 10,000 other churches, giving them a more vital future. And we believe we will have an impact on 10,000 children living with poverty right here in our own community, providing them with a more hopeful future. Finally, we dream of being used by God to reach 10,000 young adults over the next 20 years with good news of hope through Jesus Christ. As we dream about these 3 visions, we know their impact will multiply and expand like ripples across a pond.
The majority of all United Methodist churches are small churches like this one right here. And so if we can start putting better prepared pastors into those churches, even straight out of seminary, then I think that could really make a big impact toward the revitalization of our denomination.
It is so exciting to be part of St. Paul right now and their partnership with Church of the Resurrection. We are innovating a new model for religious training that will infuse energy back into the Methodist denomination down to the local church.
Everything I've done from Church of the Resurrection, from Leadership Institute to the School of Congregational Development that was there to all the books, has helped me grow in my understanding of what my job is as a pastor, has helped me grow in my understanding of what it means to pastor a church. And I've tried to model my church after the Church of the Resurrection.
And so they're teaching us many of those best practices that they've been able to make good use of over the years. And so we continue to try to incorporate that into our ability to reach out into the community and minister to them.
Resources for us have helped build us and grow us to where we are because those resources came through the generosity of Church of the Resurrection, and we'll continue to grow. And our hope is that as other churches reach out to us, we would have the same spirit of generosity of Church of the Resurrection.
And I think that's the whole point behind Church of the Resurrection. It isn't trying to be the center of the universe, it's trying to point us to the center of Christ.
Many of our schools in our district might not have all of the resources to provide what we would like for our children to have, and that is come into an environment where it looks like you want your boys and girls there.
How can we have a strong community if not all parts of it are strong? And so we need to reach out to those that need support and offer some of our resources.
Bless the School reaches out in so many different ways and continues to grow. We don't go in, paint a school, and stop. That's the introduction in the community.
What kids want in schools are people who know their name, who take an interest in them as individuals, who care about them, and are there for the long term.
And when you recognize that, okay, I was given when I didn't have those things. Now that I'm grown up or I'm growing up, I would like to be able to give back to my community.
When you're in a community and you're helping them and you get them involved, and they now know they can help themselves.
We're gaining momentum. They're actually having test scores that are rising because of our programs when the state assessments take place, and that is our goal and such a blessing.
So I'm looking at it as God saying, Doug, I'm providing you the resources, now do something with them. And that's what I hope to do.
We were the family that was dropping our kids off at Sunday school, coming over to our adult Sunday school in the East Building, going back to the West Building to pick up our kids between Sunday school and church, hanging out there, then coming back to the East Building for Vibe, then going back to the West Building to get our car and go home.
Church of the Resurrection means a lot to our family. It's where my wife and I, it's where our relationship started.
For my husband and I, it became a really monumental place in our relationship where we learned to build our relationship on God, and we started coming to church together on Sundays during a rocky part of our relationship, and that became our place of solitude with each other.
This is a thinking church, that it's okay to ask tough questions. That was really what I was looking for, and I didn't even know that at the time.
A lot of people in my generation and my age, people tend to think of Christianity as a very closed off and harsh and judgmental thing, but CORE has really just embraced what Christianity is all about.
As I see our church growing, I hope it continues to grow big so that it can continue to grow small. And the larger the church gets, the more individual and specific and focused ministries it will be able to administer, and I think that's awesome.
I want to be part of something bigger than myself, which I think is one of the best things about our church.
And we realize that it's not for us, it's for that next generation of families. That's cool. It's really cool.
There are 10,000 reasons why this really matters. What's my reason? I know that God will continue to use this church to do amazing things. Like my parents, I want to give this gift to my children. This is our moment. What's your reason?